Hey, what is up, everybody? I'm bringing you guys a quick update as to what's been going on with Charge DeFi. As many of you know, I launched a video just yesterday on Charge DeFi and exactly why I'm so bullish. And just to reiterate that fact, that bullishness has definitely not stopped. So if you look really quickly what happened since yesterday, if we look at my video here, our TVL, the total value locked, was at 47 million and it's currently at 39 million. So that is a significant decrease. It's an 8 million decrease, which is approximately 5% of the overall TVL, which is quite a big chunk of money that has been decreased. However, I personally think that's just because of the value of charge going down and the value of static going down. We can still see a good influx, of money flowing in both static and in charge, as you guys can see right here. So unfortunately, you guys can see this dump, but the good thing essentially is that once this rebase hits right here, which is in approximately 3 hours or so, we can see it right here, exactly 3 hours and 9 minutes. Once that rebase hits, we should see the static coming back up. Now it didn't start, and as you guys can see here, it says it's under peg for a hot minute, and that's because if you look at peg last epoch, it was above. It was about $1.10. So now that it's gone down below again, we're gonna have to wait for that next epoch to come through. So now a lot of people have been asking, okay, why did it just go down again? As we just came back up above peg, and it was really not above peg for a long time. If we have a look here, we can see that it was above peg for approximately, it says 2 days, around 2 days here, so about 6 epochs. And what caused this dump? Now, as many of you know, what happens when the static peg, or when it loses peg, is that a lot of people will start minting pulse tokens. Now, pulse tokens are minted, and they're bonded rather. And what happens essentially is that when it's above peg again, people that obviously minted it at a lower price, namely prices such as 85 cents or 84 cents, as you guys can see here, as soon as it comes back above peg and it's a $1.20 or $1.15, what happens is these people obviously want to take their profits. And that's personally why I do not bond and get into the pulse system, because it's good in one sense, but in the other hand, what happens is a lot of people, instead of taking their tokens, their pulse tokens that have now become profitable, and wrapping them and making them into static and then using them in the boardroom, for example, for static BUSD, what they'll do is they'll look for that quick flip, and instead they'll just sell it. And that's really unfortunate, but that's also like to each their own. Everybody wants to make profit in a different manner, and a lot of people just want to dump their token. So that's what eventually will cause this downturn. Now, if you guys have seen, even in the past when we did lose peg, for those of you that have been here for when it lost peg, you could see that right here as well. On the 21st of December, we went all the way down to 64 cents. However, right after that, we had a huge up pump all the way up to 160, 170 again, and that was literally within a matter of a few days, right? So just a few epochs, like 6 or 7 epochs, and that's because the volume obviously was a lot less. As we can see now, if you go to the home, you can see that the circulating supply is a lot more. Now, what does this essentially mean? What this essentially means is that each rebase that happens has a little bit less of an impact. And essentially what that essentially is going to mean is that even though we are under peg right now, as soon as the next epoch hits, we should see a little bit of a pump up. Now, we can also see the price differences here. Now, I personally showed in my previous video, which I will have tagged above. You can click the link right above now if you want to see that video. But I bought a charge for about $550 or somewhere around there, and we can see now it has dropped considerably. And but it's okay, because I'm actually quite strong, and I'm really bullish on this, because let's be real, if we look at charge right here, we can see that this project, unlike other projects, I'm sure a lot of you have experienced it firsthand, where these projects start spiraling down, and you can't do anything about it except watch it go to literally zero, right? and your money is just getting lower and lower and lower every time. However, if you look at this project, we can see that overall, we can see that it started approximately in November. So let's from November 13th, we had the proper startup, and we can see that we've had multiple sessions where we went up, came down, went up, came down, went as high as up nearly $2,000, came down, went high again up to $1,200, $1,300, and now we came down again. So although this volatility, and mind you, there has been a very big recent crash in Bitcoin prices as well. Although it's been volatile, what we can generally see is our investments are indeed going to be profitable. There's always that pump up. There's always this little come up that happens here, right? Every time we do have this rally. So regardless, it's very evident to see here that, we've had this little downtrend here. This is a perfect buying time now. Because once again, if you buy here, when we do have this little pump up here, and this pump up is going to happen here, you'll obviously be very, very happy. Now, for those of you that have seen my strategy, go for that. I definitely think it's still viable. I think my strategy is probably the better one out there to try to essentially compound your profits and also take your initial out. And once again, as I mentioned in that video, and I'm going to reiterate that now, I think it's so important that you are able to take your initial out regardless of what project you're in, and regardless of how bullish you are. You should always try to take your initial out so that you're running on house money. And that's the best feeling ever, right, guys? Like when you're running literally all your profits and you're making a daily income on money that is not essentially your investment, or is not essentially your initial investment. That's the best feeling out there. So with that being said, I think it's very important you guys stay in contact with the site and the Discord, just to be sure that you guys understand everything that's happening with static. I do think this little dip is very, very, very minuscule. We saw the price jump down to 380, as you guys can see here, 380, which was exactly the previous low right here. You see this, guys? So this is very, very, it's very reflective of what's going to happen now. I mean, a simple chart analysis will tell you that, right? And although a lot of people say that you shouldn't do chart analysis on tokens under 100 million, it's visible here that, it's been following these fib lines and so on and so forth. And, a lot of people say coincidences, but really, how many times can you have a coincidence, right? Every time here you see it's following these fib lines. So what we can essentially expect from this is for the same thing to happen, right? For a pump up to happen, where we will extract profits, or once again be euphoric about our gains. And just bear in mind, guys, it's always important to be safe, and that's why I'm so aggressive about taking your initial out. Just because once you do take your initial out, regardless if the price goes up 50% or comes down 100%, you're safe and you're just kind of in there. Your emotions aren't fully attached. Regardless, guys, thanks again. And yeah, as I mentioned, if you haven't looked at the strategy for Charge DeFi, make sure you go and watch my previous video. I'll have it linked as well. And yeah, let's get some gains, guys. Have a good day. Bye-bye.